Hi, I'm Josh Lambert, a group product manager here at GitLab, and today I'd like to talk about our database group's plans for the 12.10 release, which will be shipping in April 22nd. We have a few key items we're working on here, and one thing to keep in mind with this group is that it's a relatively small group currently. We are hiring, and so please do check out our jobs page and join the team. We're doing some really exciting, great database work, especially if you are interested in helping to define how databases can continue to scale with some really aggressive growth patterns. So if that excites you, definitely apply to the team. However, currently, with our current team sizes, we do still have some really interesting projects we're working on here. So this is for the 12.10 release. The first one is that we want to make sure we communicate our switch over from schema.rb over to structure.sql. This allows us to move away from the generic database information over to the plain SQL version for Ruby, which allows us to take advantage of features which we really want to use, which are things like partitioning. And so we want to make sure we communicate as part of our GDK documentation and elsewhere that this change has happened and any updated commands or things that you should use when developing GitLab. So that lays, again, some of that foundation for that switch to take advantage of Postgres-specific features within Rails. The next item we're working on is to continue to investigate partitioning. So we did some investigation in 12.9. As you can see here, what kind of impact partitioning has on certain query performance. What we found is that in some cases, it can have a significantly negative impact. And so we're going to go ahead and take a further look at this in this release to make sure we have a good understanding of this, and then figure out how we can try to work around some of these increases in planning times, for example, by ensuring we have like the partitioning key perhaps included, or maybe some other changes to make sure that we can avoid some of the degenerate use cases or edge cases that happen when you leverage partitioning with some of our existing queries. So that's going on here to, again, make sure we have a solid plan forward to take advantage of partitioning to give us that additional headroom and performance as quickly as possible once 13.0 hits, which is when PG11 will become required, and we can take advantage of these features like partitioning. So moving on from there, we're also continuing to explore some other potential solutions, looking with a little bit longer of a time horizon around where the growth of GitLab, in particular GitLab.com, is going, and how do we prepare for that growth, and do we need to do anything differently than what we're doing today? So one of those technologies that we're looking at is CitusDB as a potential option for sharding. And so you can see here we're looking at two separate CitusDB cluster and then exploring how sharding works in CitusDB. It has some interesting benefits, like for example, allowing you to shift some of these partitions over from one node to another to kind of load balance them as they potentially get hot. Other improvements we're also making here is that we are working to support limits for offset pagination and defining the default. So we had some great changes that we made to build in a key-based pagination as opposed to offset-based pagination. And that happened a couple of releases ago with some really strong impact on performance, and really could give our API customers a significant performance improvement as they go deeper into some of these pages. And we telegraphed that we wanted to correspondingly limit the ability to go deep with offset-based pagination, which has an increasingly higher impact on performance as you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the list of items. And so we want to go ahead and add a limit to prevent how deep you can go, effectively saying, you know what, offset has some benefits around things like filtering and ordering. However, you can only go 10,000 deep if it offset, at which point in time it will stop working. And in these use cases, we're really grabbing more about just everything. You have to go off and use key set-based pagination to go deeper, because that has significantly better performance. So it'll lower load in the GitLab server, and you will get your data faster on the API side. So that's what that is about preserving the GitLab performance and making sure that our users are using the right tools for the right jobs. We're also going through and making some changes to the handbook and improvements to the handbook, the GitLab handbook that is, around explaining why density matters when scheduling jobs and backup migrations, and some other improvements here as well as also making sure we have some good idea of what the global cache hit rate is on our .com service. So again, some really exciting changes here for GitLab.com and well, really for GitLab from the database team here in 12.10. So thanks everyone.